So, welcome. I don't remember the name of this YouTube channel, I'm going to be honest. I forgot.
Oh, shit.
I think it's just a thing. Either way, I'm having you on, Marquis, because you are the comic aficionado.
Oh, that's what I am now.
You know, I would say you know as much about comics as I do scary movies, because that's what I really like.
Oh, okay.
But I heard some things that I thought were questionable, and I was like, let me ask Marquis, because you probably got better answers and good insight. But before we start, let people know where they can find you and what you do.
Oh, yeah. My name is Marquis. I do comics and art on Instagram, YouTube, and really that's about it. I occasionally do stuff on TikTok, but I don't really get much traction on there, so I don't really post on there for too much. But I'm Beanieboy _94 at Instagram, and that's the same across all things, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that. So,
and I'll get all of the tags and put them in the video. So we got you straight.
Can't get that.
All right. So this is the first question. We got a few, and some are multiple choice.
Okay.
So you can share as much or as little as you want. So the first one is, DC's most famous and recognizable woman is Wonder Woman,
Sure.
right? Who is Marvel's most popular woman?
Most popular woman?
Because I've read things that are like, it's Storm, or it's Jean Grey, or it's Mary Jane. But who to you in the comics would be their, like, prodigal woman? Who's the go-to lady for Marvel?
I don't think they have one.
I didn't think so.
Because Marvel is so, like, fundamentally different from DC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, DC has, like, legacy characters who you can be like, oh, that's their premier woman and that's their premier guy. Mm-hmm. Marvel is mostly about, like, the mutants and the misfits and the monsters. So they don't really have, like, a
chick,
like a Wonder Woman type character, I feel like. They have, like, multiple who you can say, oh, that's their person.
Uh-huh.
I would say, like, each group has their own.
Each series
person.
has their own chick.
Yeah, so X-Men, they got, like, the Storms.
Uh-huh.
Avengers, they probably got...
Black Widow? That's about it. That's because of movies.
That's only because of the movies.
Yeah, in the comics.
I don't even know if they have even that. They treat the women like trash, I'll be honest with you.
So Marvel sexist a little bit.
Oh, they're very sexist. Bob Iger confirmed.
Oh, okay. You're right. Okay, so they don't have a chick. That's fine.
Not that I know of, at least.
So this is a good follow-up, because I know you'll have an answer for this. DC has the Trinity, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. What would you consider Marvel's Trinity? Because I've read different groups that are from Cap, Iron Man to Thor, or Spider-Man to Wolverine to Hulk, or on a bigger scale, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers. But for you, who's the Trinity of Marvel? Who really moves it?
It all falls back to how different they are.
Okay.
So when you think of DC's Trinity, they're the Trinity because they are the three pillars that kind of like started DC. Like way back in like the 40s during like this, I think it was World War II, those characters were created around the same time. They were used to kind of like...
That was propaganda, right?
Yeah. And they became like the pillars of DC.
Okay.
So in that same sense, Marvel doesn't have like a pillar kind of like that for individual characters, but more so like series.
Okay.
So I don't think they have a decent, like their own Trinity, but they do have like the pillars that keep them up. And that would probably be Spider-Man, the X-Men, and I guess you could say the Avengers, but it's really the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Because those are really the Fantastic Four. That's what kick-started Marvel.
Really?
That's what
the
made
Fantastic
them.
Four?
They were their first ever comic series.
I don't know why I thought it was Spider-Man or X-Men. So Fantastic Four.
They're their most popular.
Okay.
But the Fantastic Four at the time were like the blockbuster. Like, no, this is what you think of when you think of Marvel. We think of the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Because before that, Marvel was just like a bunch of horror comics.
No, it wasn't. Was it really?
They weren't even called Marvel. They were called like Timely Comics or something like that.
I didn't even know that.
And they mostly just did like horror stories.
Is this like pre-Stanley? Or was he around? So
he was around as like a publisher.
Okay,
but he stepped up to the role as a writer because he was feeling burnt out on just comics. He wanted to be like an actual like writer for novels.
Okay.
But felt like he wouldn't be taken seriously because at the time it was still like, oh, you do comics?
The kids thing.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So he was like, his wife convinced him like, all right, fine, just do one story that you really are passionate about. and then take a step into something else.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't all work out, you can always just come back to comics. So we sat down and said, all right, cool. What can I do?
Right.
He's like, well, if DC has the Justice League, 'cause they were already out at the time, then I'll give us our own team of people. So he came up with the Fantastic Four with the concept of they aren't a team, they're a family.
Okay.
And that's what made them unique and stand out from like the Justice League, which was just a compilation of different heroes.
Mm-hmm.
These were just misfits. They were outcasts for the most part, but really they were just a family of adventurers.
Okay.
Like they weren't like really like stopping crime.
Okay.
Each of their
Right.
comic books was mostly just like Reed just going like Reed was also Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Reed was essentially Rick. Well, that's just fun fact. When he was coming up with the Rick character, he based most of his attributes off of Reed Richards.
No, really?
The Council of Ricks is based off the Council of Reeds from the Marvel Comics.
Interesting.
Because Reed has his own council of Reeds from across the multiverse who all come together for science.
Oh,
They all
like
like left their families to like be a council of like the smartest on the planet Earth.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And then they actually came to get the main continuity Reed joined. He's like, no, I got a family. Like, this is weird. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
So was that, do you think Dan Harmon did that or the other dude whose name I forget for Rick and Morty? It's two of them.
Dan Harmon and
The dude who they got rid of.
It was Dan Harmon for sure.
Okay.
Because he's
Dan.
like the main guy.
Yeah.
The other guy's kind of like the voice actor, I feel like.
Okay. I forgot his name, bro.
It was something. It's gonna be on the back of my head.
Wasn't it like he beat his wife or something? That's why they let him go?
It was worse than
clean?
that.
Okay.
It was worse than that.
What'd he do?
Well, it was like it was that like the abuse. It was like abuse.
Oh, okay.
And it was stuff. He had a lot of weird skits before that involving kids.
I didn't know
People
that.
like, all right, bro, you gotta get up out of here.
Wow. And I know they just got a Cartoon Network dude, another one for kid stuff.
Oh, the sword guy.
Yeah, no, a new one.
Another one.
Not even him. Yeah.
Why are there so many?
Another one. I don't know.
This is a problem.
They move in flocks.
They're like locusts.
I know. You get rid of one and 10 show up. All right. Do you think the cinematic industry has hurt the overall approach to the iconic characters we know in comics, or has it helped them exemplify who they are?
Yes. The first one.
Okay.
100%.
Can you expound on that a bit?
I would say yes, 100%. Because before, there was at least a clear distinction of you have the comics and you have the movies.
Okay.
The movies were trying their best to capture the comics while still being a movie for casual audiences. And the comics just stayed their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But once comic books kind of launched into like the cultural zeitgeist from like Marvel,
Right.
they became the big guys, and more comic books became like the little stupid stepchild.
Side thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now comics are trying to emulate the movies
Mm-hmm.
by changing personalities, changing costumes, even just changing whole story arcs to fit like
The
movies.
movie, right?
Yeah.
The hour slot.
Oh yeah, like
Okay.
and they call it Marvel synergy, but
I've
no.
never heard that.
Yeah, it's a term they use. It's a term from like actual Marvel, the execs.
Really?
They wanted all their brands to synergize under one umbrella. They want the movies to connect to the comic books to connect to video games. It all had to lead back to making you want to watch a movie.
So they're like Disney.
Yeah.
So they want wow, I didn't know that.
Like once they really saw how popular Marvel is, this all has to lead to one another. So y'all just can't be doing whatever.
Right.
That's why you'll get like recent comics with Miss Marvel. How there was a whole story arc with her and Spider-Man doing something, and of course it was the death of Captain Marvel.
Right.
And of course she's back after a week. But they did that for a reason. As not only was her movie coming out, but they know that they wanted to lead into like the X-Men.
Okay.
So they killed her off in the comic books and brought her back as a mutant.
How does that work?
They didn't explain.
She's just a mutant?
She's a mutant now. I heard when she died, they brought her back through the X-Men comics. I only kept up with the Jonathan Hickman run of. Ooh, so that's a whole thing too. So like essentially in the new comic books, the X-Men just don't die. They have their own island where all the mutants live under. They have their own nation, recognized by the United Nations as like their own country.
Now this isn't Genosha, right?
No.
Okay.
It's like new Genosha kind of.
Okay.
And it's worse because they're all a bunch of mutant like fascists. Like no humans are allowed on their island unless you're a mutant
Okay.
or have an X gene. And they pretty much came up with a system to where they can't die. They get these specific mutants with these specific powers, and they combine those powers to essentially resurrect dead mutants.
Oh my gosh.
So if you die...
It doesn't matter.
No. Death to them was nothing.
So Dragon Balls.
Worse than Dragon Balls.
Well, right.
Because you can come from anything.
Yeah, that's true.
At least Dragon Balls had like some rules.
Yeah, you're like limited.
Yeah, this is just like, they treated death like it was a game. They just die like, oh, well, I'll come back later, it's fine. To the point that some mutants are like, yeah, I kind of like the experience of almost dying. Because like, it makes you feel alive. It's like, I can't do that no more. It was like the OGs, it was Magneto and Storm who said that, like, we ain't rocking with that. If we die, we just die.
Right.
The other ones are kind of like, yeah, fuck that. Like, if I die,
keep living.
yeah, we live forever. So when they killed her off and they brought her body to there to kind of resurrect her, they resurrected her as a mutant, I guess.
Oh my god!
I don't know much about it. That's the what I know for sure. But she's a mutant now. But it's stuff like that.
So they do a lot of that.
They do a ton of that.
Did they do that with
and personalities?
Was that with Spider-Man? Because when did he become a mutant?
Spider-Man's not a mutant. He's still a person.
What?
With
Really?
powers.
I thought he was considered a mutant with the X-Men. Why the did I think that?
See, that was like an Elseworld story.
Okay.
Where it was like House of M, where Scarlet Witch did her and reverted the entire Earth to where it was mutants who were the dominant race, and if you were a human, you were the outcast.
Okay.
And in this universe, Spider-Man was like how he was at the beginning, like more of like a celebrity type character, and he made money off of being Spider-Man. That's not because the world thought he was a mutant.
Oh, okay.
And when they go, no, he's a human.
Oh my god.
He got outed and he became like an outcast. And the book ends with him faking his own death.
Really?
Yes. And living a normal life with his family in the woods somewhere.
That's weird. That's kind of what that new movie did. Remember how he like reset the new Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, and he's like doesn't exist.
Yeah, and he's homeless.
that doesn't really make any sense.
It doesn't. I kind of don't like that they did that.
Because it's like, do you not have a social security number or like
any
IDs? Like you're registered somewhere.
Yeah,
like you're just homeless now. You
that
have
made
nothing.
No sense.
Like your school doesn't know who you are. You can't go to school.
Nope.
You can't go to college. Like who's this person? He doesn't exist
he's
anywhere.
Just a bum now.
They're just nothing. Like, I don't understand how that supposed to make his life better.
Yeah,
it makes it worse.
That was so strange to me. Are you gonna watch the fourth one? That has Venom now confirmed.
Oh well, I'm not excited anymore. I thought it was gonna be like they at first they promised a pared down, more grounded Spider-Man story, and now we got Venom and Multiverse. I'm like, nope, I'm good. You lost me.
Yeah, they're running to the ground. Okay, who is your favorite DC and Marvel hero now compared to when you were a child, or has it not changed?
I don't really think it's ever changed. Like it always fluctuates between certain characters.
Okay.
But I would say consistently, and I'm gonna separate the two.
Right.
So for DC, consistently has always been Superman, my favorite character.
That's mine too. Okay.
Superman has always been the OG.
Yes, sir.
Batman has always come up
Real
there,
close.
but he's just not Superman in my opinion. So he always kind of is a level down. And for Marvel, I spoiled it. It's always just been Spider-Man. It's been top tier.
Really?
But with Marvel, I have my top 5 at the very least. I have Spider-Man.
Okay.
I have Ben Grimm.
Ben Grimm?
He's always been one of my favorite Marvel characters.
That's an interesting choice. Okay.
He is from just him by himself.
Okay.
See, the Hulk. Wolverine.
Classic.
And Captain America.
I really thought you were going to put Thor in there.
Nah.
I don't like Thor.
I like Thor based off of more, like, current books. Like, when I was a kid, I wasn't into Thor. I didn't know nothing about Thor.
Because he sucked back then. He was lame.
I would say he was lame. He was just underexposed.
He looks lame to me.
His costume was kind of lame.
The winged
before.
helmet.
Like they did upgrade his costume over the years to make him look more like a Viking.
He looks,
and not like a male stripper.
Yes. Yeah, he was such a
with light
design.
bulbs on his chest.
Yeah, big metal
big boobs. Big chest plate. But he's actually a pretty interesting character when he's done well. When he's written well, Thor is like probably one of the most awesome characters.
Just design-wise, I've never liked him.
But Ben Grimm is always like, Ben Grimm, why the Rock guy?
Yeah.
It's because his story is just classic Marvel. He's the character who doesn't want to be the character.
Okay.
He's the human who, out of this whole group, got the worst end of the deal.
Yeah, that's true.
He turned into a fucking gross rock monster.
That is true.
That they all are... People are low-key afraid of him. But he's still fights the good fight.
Right.
There's even like one of my favorite books, and this is probably a classic Fantastic Four story. Is if I remember the title right, it's This Man, This Monster.
Okay.
And in that book, Ben Grimm has a chance to become human again, and he does. He's like, "Yo, this is great," but they get attacked by Doctor Doom, and he has a choice.
He's useless.
I have to either help them now and turn back into the Thing forever, or I keep my humanity and then let my friends die. And he made the sacrifice, became the Thing again, and the book just ends him going, "Yeah, this is my life now." And he just walks down the street by himself. Everybody hates him, thinks he's ugly.
That's a good story, though. I didn't know that. I knew in the movie, which is not great.
Ooh, boy, all the movies sucked.
I remember in the first one, he did have kind of that battle of, I don't want to look like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool that there's a comic that they fleshed that out a lot better.
Like, Reed feels guilt, like, this is my fault.
Right.
I caused this. I have to do everything in my power to get him returned back. And he finally does it. And he's like, "Bro, just go just figure it out, because like you can't be the Thing again. I refuse. I have to.
Right.
I can't let my family like go down like that." And he becomes the Thing again.
That's
and
crazy.
surprisingly enough, the Thing was actually a very popular character back in like the 70s, 60s, 80s.
Are we talking pre-Hulk, or Hulk was around?
Hulk was around.
Hulk wasn't.
They gave the Thing his own series where he just teamed up with different heroes. It was called Thing 2-in-1, where they paired up the Thing with a different Marvel character every single month.
Interesting. What do you think kids gravitated to the Thing? Do you think it was the colors?
It was everything. It was he was super strong. He was he was a tough guy.
Okay,
and on top of that, he had the catchphrases. It's clobbering time.
I forgot he does have that. You're right.
And he just talked like a from Brooklyn.
That is a popular accent.
And he's just lovable. Like, one of his nicknames is the ever-loving blue-eye Thing, because he's just a lovable character.
See, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be. That's why you got on that do-rag, huh?
Oh yeah, guys, visit my
boy.
boy.
Yes, sir.
And one of the recent books, they gave him some. I don't know how that works, but
who's he slamming his rock in?
He fucked some black chick in Brooklyn. It was like one of the combo panels where, like, I don't know if you've seen those Instagram pages to where like comic books out of context.
Yes.
It's just that page of them like on the street corner talking, and he was like, but I look like this. And she goes, "Don't worry, I like it rough."
Oh my
And the next
God.
panel is him like in the bed like this. And she's like laying on his chest. It's the silliest ever. It just brings up more questions like, how does this work? You're a rock, my guy. How does that work?
She's a super I guess. That's
I guess
crazy.
she's just built strong like a forest truck because he could kill her.
She wants some limestone in her. All right. Okay. Has the mainstream comic industry failed its fans? Has it lost the plot?
Both. Immensely.
Yeah.
The only time I feel like comics really are on point, sadly, is when it's a Elseworld story.
Really?
Where they have no stakes. They don't have to worry about continuity or like brand recognition. They can just do whatever they want to.
Right.
Because anytime they do that, the stories are like peak.
They're good.
But when they have to adhere to like 100 years of like story lines, it just gets muddled and jumbled. You can't really pitch people to get into comics because it's like it's so hard to like find a starting point. So just like reboots and rehashes and retcons, and this is continuity and this is not continuity anymore, but this part of it is. It's so confusing. And it just makes you not even want to read comic books at all. And then even how they treat the characters, it's just like they hire on people who either don't respect the characters, don't even know nothing about the characters, who are only using these characters as a springboard for their own like career. Like they don't even respect comic books; they're just doing it because it's on my resume.
Right.
I want to be a TV writer, but I have to be comic book first.
There's people who go that route.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Comics are so popular now because the movies
that
they put on. I wrote for Spider-Man. That's like, I thought that's a big deal.
That is a
big
big
for
deal.
Marvel.
Yeah.
So they use it as a springboard to hop on. When they do, they're just kind of like, what if it's so and they just write stories that just don't align with the characters' ideals. But then you have the Elseworld stuff. I would say DC, as far as their main continuity, does better with their characters than Marvel does.
Okay.
Because Marvel has just been hoeing Spider-Man ever since One More Day. And if you're a Spider-Man fan, currently you're not eating good. You're not eating good. Like, they've turned Peter into a straight up, just pathetic, weaselly cuck. He gets his girl stolen by some dude named Paul in a different dimension. And it's just like, come on. Like, why would you do this to the boy? He's like y'all Mickey Mouse. Y'all treat him like he's the Grouch from the trash can or something. It makes no sense. And, like, it's like their idea of telling a good Spider-Man story is just to show his life. And that's not the character. Like, he goes through rough stuff, but he's not like a glutton for punishment. Like, Jesus. Like, even in the recent comic books, people were just like, come on, dog, like, what is this? Like, I guess Dr. Doom took over the Earth. Mm-hmm. Now he's the supreme ruler of everything.
Right.
And he tasks Spider with a mission to go do something for him. And since he's Doom, he kind of has to do it.
Right.
This mission involves him dying multiple times in the most gruesome ways possible. Some stuff I'm like, why is this in a Spider-Man book? I can see Wolverine going through all this. There was a panel where he gets his entire flesh, skin ripped off to the bone, and he grows it all back, and he's like, oh, it hurts so bad!
Is this like a one-off?
No, it's part of his main series.
What the?
And it's like, what the is this?
That is weird.
But then you read the new Ultimate Spider-Man books that are out.
I heard those are good.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're exactly what the character should be at this point. Mm-hmm. He's a grown-ass man, not a man-child, living at his aunt's house. He's married to Mary Jane. They have 2 kids. His Uncle Ben is still alive.
Which is great.
Still alive and kicking. And that's great. And he's mature and grown. And then he gets his spider powers, and now we have a mature, grown Peter at that stage of his life. He's like 30 in these comic books now. Okay. And it's such a refreshing read because he's not just some loser. He's competent. He's not Venom. He's not a loser, Eddie. He's competent. He's sure of himself, and it's just written so well. Mm-hmm. And even with DC, like some of their more interesting storylines are their Elseworld storylines. Or they have a new series out, which is part of their Elseworld lines called Absolute. Their Absolute Universe. Okay. And people are saying that it's just knocking out the park. Every single book is like a game changer. Really? Like the Absolute Batman is on his 3rd reprinting in the last month. Damn. It's just like unheard of in recent books because comics don't sell like that no more. Yeah. Like they're just doing numbers, and people are just saying it's just good.
Is that like bulky Batman I keep seeing? Okay.
So when I first saw the promo, I'm like, why do you look like the Hulk?
Yeah, just
like,
big.
Like a big mountain of muscle. It's gross. You got like the Rock or something. And then you read the comics, like, oh, this is different. Good, huh? Like his little emblem on his chest. Weird. Yeah. You know what that is?
It's an axe, right? It's
an axe.
Yeah, I thought I seen
chopped some guy's hand off with it. Like, it's just bad.
So now he's killing people, or he's just maiming them?
He's maiming them. Oh my! This Batman's just like, I'm gonna kill you, but like, you're gonna want to die when I'm done with you. Oh my gosh! It was one issue. He was fighting a room full of people, and he was even throwing the hands or whatever. Then he started to be more tactical, and his cape is weirdly designed too. So it has like prongs on it. It's so weird. So he like grapples up to the ceiling and uses his cape to like prong onto like the ceiling. And he drops and he like floods the room by cutting off all the sprinklers, and the sprinklers come down. And he tosses a little bomb into the water that mixes. It's a chemical. And once it mixes with the water, it turns into sulfuric acid, and he burns all their feet. And they run out to the police. They don't die, but they're like, my feet are melting. My toes are gone.
So he makes them paraplegic, basically. Yeah. Oh my god.
And in this, Alfred's the villain.
Well, how'd that happen?
Because even in main continuity, Alfred is like an ex-military guy. Right. So in this book, he flipped the script and said, all right, he's the ex-military guy who sees control of the city. And Bruce is not like a rich guy in this one. He's like a middle-class dude working at a construction site with his mom.
That's why he's strong as f***. He's a construction worker.
Yeah. Okay. So his mom is alive. His dad was killed by crime. And Alfred kind of runs the city.
That's weird.
So he's like, it's like an uprising with him. Like, no, I'm going to break down the established order in Gotham because the rich are f***ing with the poor. Right. And he's a part of the middle class poor.
That's crazy.
It is, and it's so different that it's like, yeah. And then you have Absolute Wonder Woman, where they give her this big Buster anime sword, and they flip the whole script. She wasn't raised in what's it called?
Amazonia.
Yeah. She was raised in like Hades.
Oh my gosh.
So she has like a skeleton Pegasus with his giant buster sword and shit. She's like fighting demons. It's bad. It's bad.
That I didn't know about that.
Yeah, like they're all like more brutal, but it's just different. Because how this universe was created was like Darkseid, I guess, invaded a specific version of DC, and he did something where he altered their reality to where all of them have somewhat the same upbringings, but they took all the hope out.
That's crazy.
So these heroes group was like no hope. They have to like kind of find it again. Like, you know, kind of I put it with the Ultimate books to where the maker came in, took something from each character, which is why they all feel like I'm missing something.
Right.
He did that. He took away their hope, because DC characters are all about hope, like so he took all that away. This is what the end result is. They're all like more brutal. They're more like violent, but they're still at I'm still a hero.
Right.
I still have to save people, but they just don't know why they have to do that.
I like that balance, because I don't think I've ever heard that from DC at all.
Exactly. It makes things like fresh and different, which these characters have to keep doing because their stories just never end.
Right. And that's something that we'll be addressing later down on the questions, because it's something that's irked me. We've talked about it before. But so this next question: do you think comics can rival novels given enough time for artists and writers to work in tandem to create something unique?
Like manga?
No,
like manga, just like novels in general.
If someone was to, let's say, who's one of the best artists in your opinion, comic-wise?
Comic-wise? Ooh.
Anyone. Just throw someone out.
Jack Kirby.
Okay, so let's take Jack, and what's one of the best writers in comics?
Currently, let's just say Scott Snyder.
Okay, so let's say we threw those two together and said, hey, you need to make a comic book the length of a novel, so like 500 pages. Give them as much time as they need. Do you think that could rival novels? Or do you think it's too different of a world?
Yeah.
You think it could?
I'll say it could be equal.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, they kind of already are. Like with the trade paperbacks, those either outsell certain novels or they're like neck and neck.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And like sometimes a lot of comic books are tailor-made specifically to be graphic novels.
Oh, okay.
Even with certain superhero characters, like they'll take like a Spider-Man or Batman and they'll make like a story that's supposed to be a graphic novel. They put it out as a novel, like chapters, and like, but they're all like, it's all comic book stuff. It's like a thick comic book.
Yeah.
So kind of like that.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty much novelized size.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point.
Because there's two different versions. There's like the trade paperback, which is just a collection of the first like 5 or 6 issues. Then there's just stuff like The Watchmen, which is just an original just graphic novel. Just boom, just that.
Right.
I feel like they should just gravitate more towards just that.
Yeah, just because
it's just cheaper for people to afford.
I agree, because if you're buying like page after page after page,
multiple issues or something, which are just disposable, you're not going to keep all those.
Yeah, and I usually get vindictive once they do release a volume, and I'm like,
why just buy all these issues?
Yeah, I just bought all these.
Buy that for what? A couple of sketches at the end of the book?
Exactly, just sell that.
I'll just wait for that to come out. That's what I usually do. I just wait for the novel to come and just buy that instead.
And see, then my fear is, well, what if it don't sell well enough that it don't get one?
And that's the thing that comics have put themselves in, which is why manga is just destroying them.
Yes.
They're still clinging on to the old guard. It's like, it's not the 60s no more.
Yeah.
Comic book shops don't even exist, for real.
Not really.
They have like one in like every country, every state.
Yeah.
It's like 50 miles away from where you actually live.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I'm just going to go to Barnes & Noble and just buy the novel.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go 50 miles to this rinky deep comic book shop in the middle of nowhere.
I went to, I think I went to 3 different ones on Free Comic Book Day. Only one of them is decent. The rest of them is like ran by like someone's grandparents. Yeah. And they didn't have free comics. On Free Comic Book Day. You know, me, I guess. I don't know.
Look, they're business things. They're not going to strive for that.
Like outside of it, where else do you go out here? That's kind of the only one.
I don't.
Okay.
Vintage stock.
There you go.
That's the closest thing. And that's just like a novelty store.
You're
like
right.
Toys and comics have their own little section in the back.
That's true.
That's what you kind of have to do now. It's like you have to have a store with other things besides comic books to sell comics.
Yeah, that's true. And you got to dig for what you want.
Exactly.
It's not an organization at all.
No, it's just kind of plop. It's just like it's just an item that they're selling. It's not like a niche. Comic book store is like, you're here for comic books.
Yeah.
Here, just here for everything.
Anything, yeah.
Just like, oh, they're in the back. Just to find. Let's go look. He's got to search and find something.
Yeah.
But I feel like shonen and manga, they have the perfect pipeline. That's why it works so well.
Yeah.
Because with their stuff,
we'll get to that. Okay. I got a question because we both agree on that heavily. Okay. God, I want to talk about it now too. Given the opportunity, you're in the captain's seat. Whichever IP you like needs you to create a story that will save that company from having to sell off that IP. What story are you telling?
It's for DC or Marvel?
This is your favorite IP, your thing.
I've had a couple of ideas kind of kicking around, but the main one would have been like a Spider-Man story.
Okay.
But that one's kind of already being told in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it's kind of like, they're kind of already doing it, but I'm kind of glad they're doing it in that sense. I would have known it was a little different, but I think it's cool that they're doing it that way. Mm-hmm. But I did, when I was like at work and I was bored at my desk, I wrote down like a whole section of notes for like a Wolverine story I wanted to do.
Okay.
Like,
now, you don't got to give it away if you don't want people...
Oh, I'm going to see if I can remember, because like, my
it's
notes got wiped. Okay. So like all that stuff is gone now.
What happened to them?
Like when I was updating my I think it was my iPad, I wanted everything to like sync up to my phone. Mm-hmm. But instead, it just wiped the stuff that was on my phone for what was on my iPad. So now everything is just gone.
That sucks.
So all these stories and all that stuff, they're all just gone now. I remember just the basic premise. Mm-hmm. It was just like Wolverine.
That's pretty good. You might want to save that one. I'll remove that if you want. I actually want to see you make that. That is that's tight. I feel like people don't do enough. Okay. Who is the most irrelevant character in comics to you by far?
The most irrelevant character?
Yep. Like if they was gone, people wouldn't even question it. Some may say Squirrel Girl. I don't know. Some may say...
I thought she's already kind of gone. Because they don't ever do that.
Yeah. That's very true.
Eat nuts and kick butts.
That's rough. Because I feel like with the culture surrounding Marvel, they think like every character is a just A-list character when they're really not.
Right. They could even be DC if you think someone over there is trash.
They have a lot of trash characters.
I know.
They have a lot of irrelevant characters.
You get rid of Calendar Man. I mean, do what you want with it.
Oh, there's Calendar Man. There's fucking Paste Pot Pete.
I've never heard of that one.
There's the Condiment King.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. These are all Batman villains, too. All Batman guys.
Of course.
I don't know if there's any characters I can think of off the top of my head who are, like, irrelevant. That, like, if they went away, then, like, people probably wouldn't care.
Right.
I would say, like, most of the X-Men characters. Because there's just there's so many.
Absolutely.
It's like, there's like a billion of them. To the point that they're like, this is X-Men Wildcat. I'm like, who the fuck is this character? What issue did he come into and what are his powers? It's become such a trope that the X-Men have actually capitalized on this with like a little comedy series of useless X-Men characters.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's just one mutant whose power is like the second you're out of his line of vision, you forget he exists. So the joke was he was like the best X-Men, but no one can remember him because once they turn their face, they're like, who are you?
That's crazy.
He has all these missions where he's like saving Wolverine, he's like saving the X-Men from certain death.
Just don't remember.
They just don't remember who he is. They just forget him like instantly.
God. That's he seems like he could be kind of cool, but that is pretty funny.
It's pretty funny,
he's that irrelevant.
But it's like really up though.
It is up
because even his own family doesn't know he exists. Because of his power. Like, who are you? Like, this is man in my house.
Why don't they do more like Deadpool stuff? Like, have fun with that character.
They have too much fun with Deadpool. He's in everything. They do that. Well,
they need to do it with the Invisible Dude though. This guy you're talking about. That's funny.
That's hilarious.
They need to milk that.
Like, if they made it to like an actual series, I would probably read that.
Probably
if it was written well and the comedy was there.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. Okay. This is one that's very personal to you. Who do you like more, Safe Space or Snowflake?
Ooh, rough choice.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, Safe Space makes you feel comfortable when you're around him because
Okay.
he's safe. You know,
You're right.
he makes you feel like your genders are affirmed and like you're good. But Snowflake, he makes sure that your feelings are heard
Yeah.
and that your feelings matter.
You're right. I think one of them's a girl, but that's okay.
Well, I guess I'm not in a safe space now. I guess I'm just their enemy.
You're in a safe space now.
I would say Safe Space because he's my safe space.
Was he the blue one or the pink one?
I don't even remember.
Okay. I just knew there was
No,
one
those,
of them.
those are probably my answer for that. I forgot
okay,
they even
they're
existed.
irrelevant. That's
I forgot
true.
all about them. The warriors or
How
champions.
could you forget about them? What was the one? Livewire?
Yeah, his power was the
Livewire?
internet.
Yeah. That's tight.
That's tight.
Okay, this one's a multiple choice. You're probably going to know it. Which Marvel hero has produced the most revenue for the company? Is it Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine, or Black Panther?
It's definitely not Black Panther or Iron Man.
Okay.
That's a tough one. I think Wolverine and Spider-Man, they're both very popular.
Yes, they are.
I would have to say Spider-Man.
You're correct. And would you like to guess how much he's amassed them?
Yes.
What do you think?
$250 million.
1.3 billion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was somewhat close.
Yeah, you were close. Okay, here's another one for you. Which Marvel series has sold the most single-issue comic? Is it X-Men? Is it Spider-Man? Is it Captain America? Or is it Incredible Hulk?
I think it's probably X-Men.
You got that as well. Do you know how many copies? What do you think?
At least in the millions.
8.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
There we
Didn't
go.
know they was that popular.
That's the X-Men.
Yeah, that's true.
That's them guys.
You're right. That's them. All right. Which DC hero has sold the most single-issue comics?
Ooh, it's going to be a little shaky.
Okay. Is it going to be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, or The Flash?
I would have to probably say Superman.
You are killing it.
Okay.
How many do you think was sold?
It's in the millions.
It is 18,000.
Oh.
Way below Marvel, which is
wow.
crazy.
That is insane.
You'd think it would be a lot higher because he's Superman.
Huh.
That's up, ain't it?
That's weird. Well, it makes sense. I guess people are kind of falling off the whole, he's corny. Like, I don't want to read that.
I
Like,
guess, but I like him.
I love Superman.
Okay. Which DC hero? Oh, wait, I already read that. Okay, this is back to what I wanted to speak about. Why is manga more popular than American comics?
Oh,
We can go all day with this.
There's so many reasons. And they're all to me, they're all very valid reasons.
Absolutely.
First off, it's so easy to just get into a manga series. Just pick up volume 1 at any bookstore, anywhere across the place. Even a Walmart sells manga now.
Yep.
Just get, if you want One Piece, hey man, volume 1 right over there on the shelf.
Yep.
Matter of fact, it's to the point that they have books where it's 3 volumes in one book.
Yeah.
Make it
double
it's
books.
just easy for you.
Exactly.
Whereas Marvel is like, oh, you read Spider-Man? Oh, you gotta read issue 14 through issue 100, but don't read issues 6 and 7 because they're kind of bad. It's like, oh, that's confusing. I'm not doing that.
Exactly.
I'm good. They're easily accessible even for like the individual chapters. Like we said with comics, you have to travel 15 miles to go find a comic book store and hope that they have the comic book that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Shonen Jump understands that these single things are just trash.
Yes.
They have the Shonen Jump magazine printed on goddamn newspaper.
Yeah.
And they have all of them in one book. You buy the magazine, you read through it, you throw it away.
Yeah.
It's like Shonen Jump magazines all throughout the street is littered because people just read it on the way to work and they toss it.
Yep.
Next week, another one comes out.
Yep.
It's like a actual pipeline of comic, throwaway, manga, you read it, you collect it, manga these turn into an anime, anime creates merchandise, and it all trickles back to each other. It funnels it all back like an ecosystem that works perfectly.
I agree.
Like people ask like, well, how come Marvel can't just do what anime does? It's like, for one, because manga creators, and it's another thing that like, people get into manga or want to create their own manga aside from joining comics, is that they have full control over their own IP.
Yes.
The reason why anime is so slavish to the manga is because the manga creators like, no, it has to be like to the T, word for word, line for line. You can add your own music, whatever, but you better not change nothing in here.
Right. It needs to stay on board.
And they understand brand synergy in a way that's better than Marvel does, in the sense that they understand, like, if this is not the same, it could affect the sales of the book.
Yeah.
Because they want you to watch the anime and then go read the manga.
Exactly.
And you can't do that if the anime is so different than the manga. You're like, well, these are two different things.
And we've seen cases where that happens, and then you see that people have a lot of issue with it. It's not like the manga. It's not like the manga.
Exactly. And then that's the problem with Marvel, with comics, is that movies are so different that they create a different fan base.
Yes.
So they wonder why, well, how come the comics are selling like, because movies are different audiences than comic people. These people don't even read books.
No.
They're not going to read a comic because Spider-Man has a movie. They're going to watch the movie or play the video game. Whereas anime, it all circles back to, if you want to do this, you're going to read that, you're going to buy the plushies, you're going to buy the Lego sets.
Yeah.
It all circumvents. And Marvel has this problem where they have a event every single month, to the point that the events aren't even events, are just things that happen.
Right.
Like the recent events, like Blood Hunt or whatever, where vampires took over the city. Miles is a vampire.
Really?
He's a vampire now.
And this is for how long? Just a month?
He's still a vampire.
Oh my god.
Black Panther became a vampire. They were fighting, like, Thor was fighting vampires and he almost died. Wolverine was fighting vampires again.
I'm concerned that they're going to milk Miles too quickly. Like, they're really putting him in a lot.
He's already at the point where he's not even a Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
This dude is making lightning swords.
Yeah.
He's, like, shaking the earth with his feet because the lightning's so powerful. He's a vampire now.
That's so weird.
They gave him a vibranium suit from Wakanda. It's like, bruh, he's busted. He's not Spider-Man. He's like just Static Shock with vampire powers. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, they need to slow down on him. Go ahead.
Because they have to go out their way to make him different than Peter.
Right.
But they don't do it story-wise. They just give him a crap ton of powers to make him look cooler.
Yeah, they should just focus on his characteristics.
Yeah, you can't name me a single Miles villain that isn't related to Peter Parker. Yeah. Who's he got?
Yeah,
the Jackal, Spider-Man villain. Scorpion, Spider-Man villain. Rhino, Spider-Man throwaway villains from Spider-Man. And that's
How have they not given him his own villain yet?
He didn't have his own name. He's just Spider-Man.
That's a good point.
And that's the problem I have with Marvel, at least current Marvel, which just makes it hard for people to, like, get into as far as to, like, manga. Mm-hmm. Manga has characters that are distinct. You have Naruto, Sasuke, you have Sakura.
Yes.
Here you have Spider-Man. You have Spider-Man. You have another Spider-Man.
Yes.
And they all live in the same city.
Yes.
You have 2 Captain Americas.
Yeah.
You have like 4 Hulks.
Yep.
And they're all called the Hulk.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, well, who is who? Like, it doesn't even make sense in the context of the story, because what, they're swinging around. Like, hey, Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it's like they have the same name. Like, at least with DC, you have Batman, then you have Robin.
Yeah, it changes.
And then you subvent that with Nightwing and Red Hood and Red Robin.
Yes.
Like, they each have their own identity outside of just being a Robin or being just another Batman character.
Right.
Spider-Man, they're all Spider-Man.
That's a good point.
Miles isn't Miles. He's just Miles Spider-Man. Yes. That's why I have to make the comic book title with Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yeah,
just to differentiate between that. No, he's Miles. He's not Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But he's still called Spider-Man, though. It's like, why?
Same thing.
It's just confusing.
Another thing that I always thought was very good with Shonen, and you've probably had magazines from Shonen, right? They always feature like 5 or 6 different mangas.
Which, that's my other thing, is that they're so good at advertising their other stuff because you can buy it all in one package. Mm-hmm. And if something doesn't sell or isn't as popular, they just take it out the manga and replace it with something else.
Exactly.
So it's like with Marvel, they have their titles they put out every single month. The Spider-Mans, the X-Men's, the whatevers. And just whatever sells is whatever sells. Mm-hmm. Half the time, you don't even know what is even out because they're all so different.
Exactly.
Whereas with Shonen, it's all in one spot.
Yes.
This chapter, this group of pages is Chainsaw Man. This is Dragon Ball. This.
Yeah,
it's all in one spot. So if you want to find something new, it's just right there.
Exactly. And then you can pick and choose what you want.
Yeah.
And another thing has always been an issue too is like Japan is not afraid to diversify.
They're not.
America has been holding on to the same primary heroes forever.
And that's another problem.
They don't take chances, and they don't fund them when they do take a chance.
That's the problem that manga doesn't have, that they're so versatile.
Yes.
You have a book, Chainsaw Man, by a guy with a chainsaw for a face who fights demons.
Yes.
And then in the next chapter, The next page over is about a kid whose family is spies.
Yes.
And it's like completely
so
different stories. Then the next story is about a retired assassin who lives at a grocery store.
Yeah. Oh, so different.
These are all just so like just vastly different. They do superhero books better than Marvel or do with One Punch Man, My Hero. Yep. Like, they understand how to tell a superhero book better than actual American superhero comics. It's just sad to me.
It is sad because we started it.
We started comic books in general.
Yeah.
They got that from us.
Yeah.
And they're doing it better than we are.
Let's be honest, they blowing us out of the animation too.
Oh, they are killing us.
They've been smoking us.
Smoking.
Yeah.
We have like a few.
We got the DC stuff. That's kind of it. The movies. Well,
and
not
even
anymore.
those are kind of like sliding.
Yeah.
Those have been getting like bad reviews and they're not animated well.
No, they're not.
It's just
they
bad.
used to be. Some were decent.
The only things that are being animated well are things that aren't traditionally 2D.
Yes.
Like Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane. I'd even say the Powerhouse Studio stuff like Castlevania was really good. Blood of Zeus.
Those are all like anime inspired.
Yeah, exactly.
But they still count like American animation.
Yeah. Avatar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they don't diversify with stuff. It's just the same old Spider-Man fights. Like how many times can you see Batman fight the Joker? I've seen this before.
Exactly.
I've seen this a million times. I'm bored. I'm tired. It's the same shit. He beats the Joker. He goes to jail. He comes out. He kills more children. I don't want to read this no more.
Yeah, that's
manga
true.
is just you get a different thing every single time. It's so diverse. Mm-hmm. It's so creative. Like the way they even create power systems are just so better than Marvel or DC.
Yeah,
they're all unique and different with their own set of rules that work within their own universe, their own systems and failings. Mm-hmm. Like, and they all complement each character in a way that makes the books fun to read.
It does. Yeah, it's true. And I don't think that's ever going to change here.
No,
they just are going to stay digging that hole.
Comics are still throwaways.
Yeah.
Because they do good for like a while, and it's just right back to status quo. Mm-hmm. Right back to what you knew before. Yep. Peter Parker's back at his aunt's house. Yep. You know, he's still single and he's still a loser. Uh-huh. Wolverine is still killing people in the woods. Yeah. Hulk is still just a mindless monster. He's just Bruce Banner's still not happy.
Yeah. Iron Man's still a drunk.
Which leads me to like the biggest problem that the comic books have, and why manga are just killing them, is that their stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yes.
You have a complete story where you feel like, I finished this. I was on a journey.
Yes.
I was taken through highs and lows, and I reached an end, and it just stops.
Except for One Piece, but everything else,
yes. Except for One Piece.
Everything else stops.
That's going to go on until he probably dies. Ghost will keep writing them books.
Yeah, and I hate it. But yeah, you're right. They never have an end point with ours.
No.
It's manga,
they just highs and lows for eternity. Yeah. To the point that it's a joke. Characters are dying to the point that death means nothing.
Yeah, because they'll pop up.
They'll come back up, like, they get resurrected by some demon or some god in, like, some other book, and he's back. Like, Wolverine was dead for, like, what, a year?
Right, and then he
was
came
back again. Was back. Same old. Like, nothing changed.
That's a good point.
Even when he died, they just replaced it with a different Wolverine. They're just interchangeable at this point. Mm-hmm. But when a character dies in a manga, you know that, they're dead.
Yeah, they're gone.
Unless they pull some trickery within the book, they're dead. Mm-hmm. And their death means more.
Yes.
Like, their highs and lows mean more because it's all coming to a specific endpoint, an end goal. And they lead you to that. Like, to me, one of the best mangas or animes I've seen in years is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That is a good one, and there's a lot of permanent deaths in that
Permanent deaths, and they take you, like, you know what their goal is. Uh-huh. You know that they're probably going to get to that goal, but you don't know how. They take you on a wild journey of just political intrigue, betrayal, action, adventure, romance, death. Like, it's jam-packed with everything you would need from a story. Yeah. And it it's over. You're like, you're sad, but it's a bittersweet. I've read that. It's done. It's a good story, and you come back to it later.
Yeah, you can always revisit these things.
Yes, and then you get the same impact. And you probably catch more the second viewing.
Time, yes.
With Marvel and DC, it's like, I'll just pick you up whenever I feel like it because you're just doing the same thing anyways.
And it's never going to end.
No, it never gets better either.
What would you say is the worst design you've seen on a character?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And whoever you say, I'm going to look them up and add them in the video so people can also see this.
Ooh, buddy. Oh, that's rough.
I'm sure there's a lot.
There's too many. These characters have gone through so many different like redesigns and just new costumes that it's kind of hard to pick just one without having to look it up.
Right.
I think the person.
You can use your phone if you want it.
Yeah. So I think the character who has like the worst costumes is actually Miles.
I know what you're thinking about when you said that. Popped in my head.
Like they give him like the ugliest suits.
He does.
At one point, they gave him like a tracksuit.
That's what I was thinking
with
of.
Sneakers.
Yep.
It's like, how do you stick to walls if you're wearing shoes?
Exactly.
It's just it's kind of like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. Let me see if I can find like something.
Because that Miles store was ugly too.
Oh my god! Even in the game, they can't give him good suits because he has no good suits.
Yeah, he don't.
Peter has 60 years worth of like costumes you can kind of give him.
Yeah.
But even with that, it's like you always go back to the classic red and blue.
Red, blue, symbiote. The basics.
Let me see. Terrible superhero costumes. Or terrible superhero costumes or designs. Because there's like so many. Ooh. The 90s was probably the absolute worst era. No reason either.
Okay.
The 90s, this the entirety of the 90s.
In general.
Is in general. Nothing but military outfits, pouches on top of pouches, top of pouches, and they didn't use like. Why does Cyclops need pouches?
That's
he has
good
an
question.
He has ID. He's not Batman. He's not throwing bombs or pellets. It just looks cool.
I never thought about that. That is a good question.
Yes, the reason why the 90s was so terrible, for so many different reasons, as far as comic books goes, because it was all about style over substance and sex appeal over like functionality. Like the fact that they redesigned Sue Storm's costume to have a boob window in the shape of a 4 and a cut-off midriff with like booty shorts. Like she's a mom in the series. She has 2 kids.
Well, not in that one.
Why is she dressed like a stripper?
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Every X-Men, like every single female character was like a stripper.
Very sexual.
They had giant swords, popped out boob windows. They were wearing bikinis and underwear. But then the dudes on the battle they were shirtless with like military vests and like straps everywhere.
Like
just
some
straps
dumb
everywhere.
or something.
Just straps everywhere. Pouches just all over the place. Like big gigantic guns, like cable.
Do you think that was because of Rambo at the time? Because that was a big movie.
It was because of the
Terminator?
whole genre of like 80s action movies.
Okay.
Because like comic books have this thing to where. This is why they are so like ingrained in our culture, is that they mirror whatever time period that they're set in. So during the 70s, you had the era of like blaxploitation and kung fu movies.
Yes.
So of course you have characters who come up like Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
You have the Shang-Chi characters. You have the Batman's fighting ninjas now and doing more kung fu martial arts stuff because they're mirroring the era that they're in. And you have more like black characters who are like cops and detectives with the afros. Then when you go into like the 80s, that's the era of more like action movies and like extreme violence. Okay. That's why you have like the Watchmen storyline and the Dark Knight Returns, or all this gritty, dark, like Batman's like old and broken and all these different types of storylines, and Superman's dead and Batman's dead. He's back from like Bane. All these it's more dark. Yeah. So the comic books reflected the time period because Reagan was president. Like there was like all these violent crimes going on in the streets of New York at the time, and it mirrored that. So the 90s was all about aesthetic. Like cool skateboarders, surfer movies, hip hop was popular, and that matched with the comic books because just like the stuff you see on TV was all flashy, but they had no substance to it. Yes. You had MTV at the time playing music videos, but the music all was just kind of vapid. Yeah. So the comic books kind of mirrored that because the writers grew up in that time period. Right. The Todd McFarlane's and the what's his name, Rob Liefeld's, like they grew up in that era, and it reflected in the books because the characters all dressed like like more fashionable. And the art was like very flashy, but it really was bad.
Right. Not much was really being told there.
No. And they made the problem of the artist becoming bigger than the writer, to the point that the artists became the writers.
Yeah.
And a lot of those books sucked because they were not good writers.
Right.
Todd McFarlane, he's a great artist. That man is not a writer. He is not a writer under any circumstances. If you ever sat down and read his dialogue now, it's like you wrote that. Like, actually, it's really cringy 90s dialogue. It's terrible.
Well, it worked for the time.
The time, yeah.
For the time.
The time, that was people want, like, give me the edgy, give me Spawn with a big gun and chains everywhere. There's chains.
Chain man.
Now you watch it now, you're like, this was cool back then. Like, why? like, what does he need all those chains for? Like, he doesn't use them. Like,
that's a good point.
And it brings the big, like, he has magic, but he also has guns.
Yeah, that I didn't understand.
Why is he carrying around a missile launcher? Why is he doing military stuff? Why is he a mercenary if he's a demon spawn?
He has pouches.
And he has pouches.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that.
He has the pouches. Spawn is, I know, I'm pissing off a lot of fans with this.
Okay.
But Spawn is your stereotypical 90s character. Yeah. They have this trope called Rule of Cool.
Okay.
Where it doesn't matter what it is, this character, only the rule is just be as bad awesome as he can possibly be. That's Spawn. Yeah. Story makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, he was a mercenary who sold his soul to the devil to kill some guy. The devil betrayed him. But instead of just sending him to hell, he sent him back to Earth with powers that could defy him.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Makes no sense. He takes his memories away. For what?
Right.
And he has a time limit on his powers to where if he uses too much of his abilities, he'll get sent back to hell.
I didn't know that.
But why is he on Earth in the first place?
Yeah.
And why did his powers have a time limit? And why would you bring him back if you couldn't control his actions?
So he sounds like a Ghost Rider.
A very Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Like, Ghost Rider makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, Ghost Rider makes sense.
Yes.
Spawn does not. He has just chains and guns and pouches. Because his whole workaround is, well, he has to do mercenary bad cool stuff because his powers have a limit on him. So if he uses too much magic, he'll burn out and die. So he has the big guns and, like, he does karate chops. He has chains.
That's stupid.
It's like, that's dumb. He has the big cape just flowing.
Yeah,
and all this. It's just. He looks cool though.
Yeah, he does look the part.
He can sell a T-shirt.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah, he can sell a shirt.
Like, he's probably every emo kid's wet dream is Spawn.
Yep.
Whereas Ghost Rider,
you can answer that if you have to.
Let me just text you where I'm at. Whereas Ghost Rider is like a different kind of story. He was created in like I think the 60s.
Ghost Rider's that old? Okay,
he started off as like I think just like they did horror stories back then.
Right.
He was like a one shot like horror story. Oh, the Ghost Rider.
So then I assume him existing kind of predicates to McFarlane referencing him for Spawn at some point. Because the whole devil aspect, the chains.
See, with that, it's just more so him just liking a bunch of cool shit. Like,
I think he took shit from other things.
He wrote from Spider-Man, so his costume kind of looks like Spider-Man.
Yes.
He created Venom, so he's
all black.
So, of course, he's all black, and his suit is like actually alive.
Yeah.
Like the symbiote was. And then you have like the Ghost Rider stuff was like he's from hell, and he has fire, and chains and whips, and all this other crazy stuff. But Ghost Rider is a better character because he's better written. Yes. It's a better story, and it all makes sense. Yeah. And there's two different versions. My favorite is not Johnny Blaze.
Okay.
My favorite is the one that most people probably know Ghost Rider from, actually. And that's the one from the 80s, which is Danny Ketch.
Okay, so what's the differences?
That's the one with like the big faceplate for the motorcycle.
Okay, yeah, I know.
That's the most recognizable one. Because Ghost Rider for the time, he was popular, like...
Kinda.
Yeah, kinda. He was like I could see his character.
Okay.
He kind of went away. Then he got brought back in the 80s by this writer. I forgot whose writer was for him. And it kind of made him more with the times. Gave him a souped up motorcycle. Like pretty much everything you know about Ghost Rider came from Danny Ketch.
Okay.
Because the original Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, his bike was made out of Hellfire. He would just make.
Okay.
That's why it was like red and like just engulfed in flames.
So it wasn't pre-established vehicle?
No.
Okay.
He had no chains, no pin and stare.
Really?
He only came out like at night, like a vampire kind of.
Okay.
And he was a separate entity from Johnny. No. It was just Johnny.
Okay.
But he was being chased by Satan because he was trying to get his soul back. And he was like running from him on the bike.
Right.
Whereas Danny Ketch is like completely just like nope. What you thought you knew was just nah. He has a motorcycle with a pendant on it.
Okay.
And the pendant is the soul of this priest.
Okay.
Who was fighting off demons in like the olden times and vowed that like in the presence of evil I will become vengeance.
Okay.
Which is why he's the spirit of vengeance. So when he presses his hand over the medallion, he turns into the Ghost Rider.
Okay.
But the Ghost Rider and Danny are two separate entities sharing the same body.
Gotcha.
So in the presence of evil, or when innocent blood is spilled, he turns into him like involuntarily.
Okay.
Just,
interesting. Cool.
And all the powers came from that character. The pin and stare is his. The chains are his.
Mm-hmm.
The Hellfire abilities are kind of his.
Mm-hmm.
Him not being tied to like Mephisto or anything is all tied to him too.
Interesting.
To the point that even in the book, it was a mystery of who is this Ghost Rider. Even Mephisto was like, I didn't make him. Like, who is this? Like, what is this thing? Like, this is not. This Like, in that one, he's more of a ghost, and he's like a demon.
Yeah.
And even his abilities were cooler because like he didn't just have the chain.
Mm-hmm.
He could take the chain. He could section off the things and shoot them as bullets. He could stiffen the chain to like a staff and like hit you with it.
Huh.
He could turn the individual chain link into shuriken and like shoot them at you.
Damn.
And his finish there was like all completely Danny Ketch's.
Oh, for real?
But when they revamped Ghost Rider again, because the movie was coming out and he needed like a Ghost Rider character because his storyline was already done, they just took Johnny Blaze and gave him Danny Ketch's everything, his costume.
Okay.
Because Danny Blaze just had like the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Ketch had like the jacket with the spikes.
Yeah.
All that came from him.
Kind of the classic look. Okay.
Yeah. So they gave him the pin and stare, the chain, the biker jacket, and everything else pretty much. And Danny Ketch was just like, it's like
interesting. Okay. And then is it becoming a trend where they just recreate him? Because I know there's the one where he's like in a Mustang now, right? The younger kid.
Yeah. So pretty much they established in like the revamped Ghost Rider series that came with Johnny Blaze, which is actually pretty good.
Okay.
That the spirit of vengeance is like an angel.
Okay.
That God used as like his right hand of like, I send you to smite evil.
Right. So he'll just preordain somebody to take
different
the role.
Ghost Riders for different occasions.
Okay.
So each time is a different Ghost Riders. Like he was a different spirit of vengeance.
Mm-hmm. So
he had Ghost Riders from like way back who were all previous Ghost Riders. But they're separate from like Johnny because Johnny was like just by a demon.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting part about the new Ghost Rider is that that's completely different as well. So the thing with him is he's always innovating with his character.
Okay.
This dude, his Ghost Rider isn't a spirit of vengeance. Mm-hmm. It is the tormented soul of a serial killer who possesses his body.
Oh my gosh.
So he has to keep that at bay while he's Ghost Rider and fighting like evil. Because if he slips up, then that spirit will like, yeah, let's murder, let's kill, let's do it, let's do this. He's like fighting with himself in a way.
So isn't that like Moon Knight? Isn't he battling with his mental issues?
He's like schizophrenia.
Okay, all right.
like so,
a little different.
A little different. Okay. So he was possessed by a spirit. He just got multiple personalities.
Okay.
But even that is like they do that in an interesting way.
Yes.
Because each personality has his own skill set,
Mm-hmm.
they have their own like way of doing things, and they all come out at like different times.
Mm-hmm.
But Ghost Rider is but Moon Knight known for just being like a crazy anyways in the comic books.
Okay.
Like there are a few people who are like scared to fight him because he's just that crazy.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, there's Taskmaster. I don't know if you know his
Taskmaster.
His like exception. There are two people who he just will not fight.
Taskmaster's one of them. Who's the other one?
No, Taskmaster. His rule.
Oh, okay.
So he can copy anybody's fighting style.
Right.
But there are two people who he just will not ever copy their abilities, and who he's actually afraid to fight.
Okay.
And that's Deadpool and Moon Knight.
Because they're both unpredictable.
Deadpool because he has the he just does shit.
Yeah.
He can't like copy him because he's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Whereas Moon Knight's entire fighting style is, I'm going to take the hit and keep coming at you.
Yes.
It's like, I'm not copying. That's crazy.
Right, because
like,
then he's going to lose.
He's a nut job. Like, he'll get punched and stabbed. He's like, come on, yeah! He's like crazy. Like, this is the dude who I think he was fighting, like, I think he was fighting Taskmaster. He crashed a airplane into a building just to catch up to him to throw hands.
Oh, my God.
He's like, this man is crazy, bro. I don't want to fight him. This man is psycho. Wow. He's known for being crazy and murderous.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he's actually pretty interesting.
That's funny. I always looked at him as white Batman, but clearly he's not.
Well, he's a moon.
Yeah, moon.
He has moon-shaped technology. He's a rich billionaire, so like, yeah.
That's funny.
He's just white Batman. What crazier?
What would you say is the most underrated character in comics?
Most underrated character in comic books. Let me think.
Or maybe somebody that you champion that you feel like people ain't giving enough attention to. And this ain't even got to be Marvel or DC. This is across the board.
Oh, across the board.
If you don't think they're showing love to Transformers enough, or Ninja Turtles, or Power Rangers, whatever.
I feel like people absolutely sleep on the Ninja Turtle comic books.
Okay, I agree.
Like, those books have always innovated these characters in a way that stays true to who they are and what they represent, but still being fresh and different every single time. That's even with their TV series, too.
Yeah, very much
like,
so.
people are so associated with them being cartoon characters, they don't know that these were violent comics from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, they were a spoof of, like, Daredevil comic books.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The foot and the hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, pretty much these two dudes created these characters just for fun in their college dorm, and they were drunk one night and bored. He's just like, hey man, go get this. It's like a drawing of a turtle holding nunchucks. And it turned into $1 billion industry.
Do they still own that though?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I thought they would have gave it away.
Oh, they probably sold like the TV rights like Nickelodeon.
Okay. Right.
But they're still their characters.
They didn't license it? They just was like, have the TV rights?
They licensed like, I think the toys and then like the TV rights. They still get royalties.
Oh, I'm sure.
They are rich people.
That is ridiculous.
But they have, when it comes to comic books, they always make sure those books are always just I don't think there's a single miss I can really think of, even with the recent books. There's like, the new ones aren't even written by Kevin Eastman anymore. The new ones have been written by Jason Aaron.
Okay.
And even those, I heard from people, are just like, they're really good.
So do you think they're just harder on who they pick to allow to make these stories? Because they want it to stay consistent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even back in the day, when he commissioned people to write short stories for TMNT, he made sure he vetted each person. Like, you make sure that you don't write some crazy These are my characters. These are my babies. And it's that level of like love that has made them consistent across the board.
Good. Okay.
And their stories are just, they find new ways to tell it without breaking the characters, but still keeping that, even that same like grittiness to it.
Yes.
They don't go, well, they're kids' property now, so we gotta be, like, nah, they're still murking. Right. The Shredder is still decapitating people. Like, it's still dark, but they even capture some of the elements from the TV shows, like their personalities being like more distinct, but they peel back the layers of each character to where Mikey's not just the party dude. Right. He's the slacker with unlimited potential. Leo isn't just the boring leader. Yeah. He's the older brother who has horrible anxiety over not leading his brothers correctly and possibly leading them all to their deaths. Raphael isn't just like the hothead. He's a psychopath with anger issues who desperately wants to control his anger, doesn't hurt anybody. Right. And Donatello isn't just the guy who does machines.
Not the smart guy.
Yeah, he's like intelligent, but he's also compassionate and kind. To where he will give his life for anybody. He's willing to explore things even beyond just science. Right. Like, they're all very unique and very interesting. That's why their characters have just stand the test of time.
Yeah, that's true.
And their personalities are so distinct that you can. There's not a single person who can't relate to at least one Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can always go, yeah, I'm more for Raphael, or I'm more for Michelangelo, and you wouldn't be wrong.
And it's probably hard to find someone who don't know them either.
Exactly, they're everywhere.
Like, you know the Ninja Turtles.
They are literally everywhere. And I guess Transformers too, because I never read a Transformers comic.
Oh no.
Mostly just their video games and their cartoon series.
Everything else around it.
Yeah. But when the recent books written by Daniel Warren Johnson, those are just...
Them joints is clean, huh?
Them joints is beyond clean.
Okay.
Like, they take the characters in a way that's just like Ninja Turtles. They respect it. You can tell he like really loves Transformers. Mm-hmm. He respects it, respects the storyline, respects like the original iterations of these characters. Wow. But at the same time, you know that he likes other stuff, mm-hmm. and he incorporates it into the story. Like, when you see Optimus Prime suplexing Megatron, like, oh, he's a fan of WWE.
That's tight, okay.
Like, he's a fan of wrestling. Or when you see, like, you know, Starscream and Megatron, like, fighting for control. Oh, he likes Game of Thrones. Because, like, they're fighting for power for the Decepticons. And, like, it sparks a new life into it, mm-hmm. but still going, like, this is still Transformers, though. Right. Like, this is still Optimus Prime.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't post more Optimus Prime. Really, it's like a he's like a cat in a different universe or some crazy wild. It's just these are the characters you've known for years, just doing something different.
Oh, and I gotta thank you, sir. By the way, Transformers 1, good movie.
I told you.
I was talking all that in my personal life. Like,
we all were.
I was like,
so goofy. This was dumb.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Will it get a sequel? Probably not.
Actually, I don't know. I think it's one of those movies to where initially it wasn't as good, but word of mouth has just been like, oof. And now maybe it might get one due to like streaming. People are now going, well, let me check this out. And the streaming numbers are high. They might go, it could get a sequel.
It was good. That trailer was terrible. But the movie was good.
It made like a preschool movie.
Yes.
Which is from the animation to the jokes.
Yeah.
When the jokes are actually funny in the movie.
No.
It's like, who made this trailer? They need to be fired.
It was bad, yeah.
It needs to be actually fired.
I didn't expect that movie to go the way it did. I knew it was a story of them, how they become villains to each other, but that was... It was very interesting. Same motive, different way of going about it.
It was emotional.
It was very emotional.
You really understand both people.
Yeah, I agree with both sides.
To the point where I'm like, I don't know who's right.
Yeah, you got the pacifist and whatever the opposite.
You got what would you call that?
I don't even know.
Not a fascist, but he's just like he's more radical.
Yes, radical.
He's more like, we can do this. He's like, no, burn it all down. Yeah. Start over. You can't change these people. They can't be changed.
That he shot him at the end though.
Oh yeah,
and then didn't help him.
No, he was
that's
like,
dirty.
I'm done saving your.
Yeah, that was so dirty.
Put a scar on his.
And they had to make him a black boy.
Scar, please. Long live Cybertron. Just dropped him.
Yeah, great movie. I enjoyed that. Okay, now this one, you're probably gonna do pretty well with this. I'm gonna throw some quotes your way, and you tell me who said them.
Okay, let's see if I can remember.
This is pretty softball right here. With great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, that's Spider-Man.
Okay, did Spider-Man say it?
His Uncle Ben said it.
Okay, I want the names of who said it.
Oh, okay, got you.
Nothing ever ends.
Ooh,
that's a little harder.
That was very hard because every character has said that.
I'll give you a hint. It's a character from Watchmen.
Is it Rorschach?
Dr. Manhattan. Okay. Deep down, Clark is essentially a good person. Deep down, I'm not.
Batman.
Yep. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move.
Captain America. That's my boy.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Life doesn't give us purpose. We give life purpose.
Ooh. Damn, what could be anybody?
I know, it's so vague. It's DC, though. I'll give you that.
It's DC. Is it Superman?
The Flash. Hey,
that's Flash? I know. What?
I know. I was
He be saying some quotables like that.
I guess.
All right. Okay, Flash.
He used to.
For that TV show.
Yeah.
We start talking about that.
Though. Ezra Miller.
I'm talking about the
Oh,
TV show.
the old one.
With
Oh, wait,
the-
isn't he in the TV show? The Ezra Miller, the CN?
Grant Gustin.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
you're
that
right.
just went. They have lightning blades. They're like Power Rangers. It's
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, I gotta show you a clip. It's just like it's really bad.
Is it still going?
I think it just ended,
Okay.
and it ended on a horrible note.
You'll have to show me a clip.
It's so bad.
Okay. What you know is dangerous to your enemy. What you think you know is dangerous to you.
Wolverine?
Master Splinter.
Oh, so close. I
I
was
was-
thinking of something like that.
I'm gonna say, but
Oh,
that might have given it away.
Might get canceled.
I don't care. Okay. Someday we'll all get to choose what we want to be, but not today.
Damn, these are hard.
I know.
Who said some shit like that?
You want a hint?
Yes.
Transformers.
Optimus Prime?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Like, he had to say some lofty shit like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay, that's all for the quotes.
Okay.
What comic character or franchise would you like to see get a movie or show adaptation?
That hasn't had one of that?
Yeah, that hasn't had one yet.
Ooh.
Who do you think deserves a show or a movie? We've already shit on movies, so probably the show is where we're going to go here.
We're gonna go with that direction. I
then-
think
Again, this can be anything.
for a TV show, I can think of maybe a couple.
Okay.
I know we talk about the Flash, but like he hasn't had like a proper like cartoon.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't think ever really.
No, he's only been in Justice League.
Yeah, it's like
Unlimited,
a
that's it.
side character.
Yeah,
But I think he deserves his own like he'll make a good Saturday morning cartoon.
I think so too, actually.
He has the potential. Like Spectacular Spider-Man vibes with the Flash.
Yeah,
I can see it.
that could work.
That and what's the one I was gonna say? This one I think was from Marvel. I was gonna say Marvel. I would want a Ghost Rider series.
How does he not have one?
I don't understand. 'Cause at a certain point in the comic books, he was almost as popular as Spider-Man. In the 80s, yeah, he was up there. They was teaming him up with other people.
Do you think it's an issue of animating the fire on him, like his head?
I think it's an issue of.
Or are you just people scared, or what?
I think it's an issue of more so subject material.
Okay.
Because their whole thing is like, well, he has to be for kids.
Right.
Like, he kills demons. He's not a kid character.
We don't think Netflix would pick it up.
Not if Disney is like backing
Oh,
it.
you're right.
You got to remember
Disney,
they're in
yeah.
charge of the animation department. So they're like,
Yeah.
well, we have to do it. And he ain't doing none of that.
Yeah, you're right.
They're going to make it as cookie cutter and safe as possible.
I didn't think about that. That's right. It is.
It's like a hard sell. It's a very hard sell. But I think he would have like a really cool series.
I think he would.
Him or like, give Shang-Chi his own Netflix series.
Yeah, flesh him out.
Make it more gritty, like an actual like old school kung fu movie.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be awesome.
That would be really cool. That movie I did not like.
No, like I liked it up until they got to mystical China.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you lost me. Bro.
They
You're
definitely lost me.
riding on dragons, fighting space demons. Like you were fighting ninjas on a rooftop an hour
Yeah.
ago. Like what happened here?
That was a weird choice.
Fully lost the plot.
So, okay, so Shang-Chi, I agree with. Ghost Rider, yup. What was the first one you said? Flash.
The Flash.
That would be cool. Yeah. His movies are okay, but his show would be a lot better, I'm sure.
His comic books are like, his power set is interesting.
Yes.
I don't see that animated in like a creative way.
See how they play with it.
Because his powers just, they don't make sense. I think
See,
it just defies the laws of physics.
Here's what's crazy. A lot of people generally know him. He's the fast guy. Expand on, because I know he does more than that.
This can do anything.
Here, yeah.
Like, apparently this fought their version of death. You know how he beat this dude? He ran so fast that he ran to the end of time to where the concept of death just stopped existing.
Oh,
and that's how he beat him. He just outran death. Like, it's just that fast.
That's pretty cool.
And in one of the issues, he was these people came down from space to challenge the Flash to a race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we win, then the Earth is ours.
Right.
If you win, then like we'll just leave. But the trick was that we could teleport. Flash said, "All right, that's it."
Wow.
Like, we can tell. Like, all right, Mark, you're set. It was already there. Outran people who could teleport. Like, it don't make no sense. This thing is like fast.
Wow.
And the things he can do with his speed also make him as strong as like Superman.
Right, because you just have enough inertia from that.
He has the infinite mass punch, where he can vibrate his hand at such a frequency that if he hits you with it, it's like he hit with a floating star.
That's tight.
He's a really cool character.
Okay.
He's got a really interesting power set, and like he can like run so fast he can go into time. All that kind of stuff. But another cool thing about the Flash is that his brain also functions
quicker
at hyper speed.
I didn't know that.
There was an issue where his library got blown up. Or no, his hospital got blown up. And he ran so fast at times, just kind of stopped, walked to a library, read every single book on architecture in a nanosecond, and then rebuilt the hospital in just before they had to check the blink. They blinked and it was already back up.
That's crazy.
He's like, yeah, I did that. That's me.
So, okay. I didn't think he was that interesting, but I didn't know none of that.
The only thing that kind of maybe hindered it are his villains.
He do got some villains.
Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, that's trash. I like Negative Flash, but he don't.
Yeah, but he's just like
He's just
anti-Flash.
Flash. Yeah,
he's
that's
just
all
Flash,
it
but like evil. You have Captain Boomerang and like
It's his? I
Oh,
thought that was a Batman villain.
No.
Captain Boomerang? Trash.
Yes, they're called the Rogues. They're like the blue collar. We want to rob banks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze or the ice guy.
Oh, the
Captain
gun.
Cold.
Captain Cold. Yeah,
Captain
trash.
Boomerang. Weather Wizard. just lame.
Weather Wizard.
Absolute lame characters. The only time they made these characters even somewhat cool was when they did the New 52.
When they revamped it all.
And his book, New 52, was the only thing that was interesting. Oh, yeah, wait. Another cartoon I would want to see is Blue Beetle.
He kind of was brave and the bold. He was in that a lot.
Yeah,
but he did get his own.
His show,
yeah,
though.
you're right.
Like, his story is also pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
And that movie doesn't do it any justice.
You don't think George Lopez delivered?
I think he delivered a little too well.
Okay.
You know, it's just called the Lopez movie.
Was he really in it that much?
Yeah. I mean, he's people don't know about George Lopez. He's kind of arrogant. He has to
Kinda.
be. He has to.
Kinda.
He has to be the center of attention and everything Mexican themed. Just period. He has to be because it is contracts. He's George Lopez.
So he's like the Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the movie, he plays a scientist who builds stuff. Which, if you can believe that.
Well, he was Mr. Watts. I do believe that.
He was a scientist even in that movie. He was just a giant light bulb.
You're right.
But a Blue Beetle cartoon, oh yeah, because there's so many elements to play around with that are just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The movie, it looked like Blue Beetle.
Yeah, it wasn't Blue Beetle.
You know. Like they made the Beetle like just AI.
Oh, really?
Like, hey Jaime, I'm here to assist you.
So it wasn't even like Jarvis, where it was kind of humanish.
Yeah, it was kind of human, but it was just like robotic.
Okay.
Like the actual Scarab in like the comic books and even some of the cartoons he was in, menace.
Yeah.
It's like having, you know how in the cartoons they have an angel here and a devil here?
Yeah.
It's just a devil.
Yeah.
Just like kill him, maim him, blow his hands off, Jaime, do it. He's like, dude, no, stop. Like, I don't want to kill this man.
I mean, it's just a robot. They think, what's the most efficient idea?
And it's not, but it's not to that degree though.
Right,
like,
in the movie.
Like in the movie, it's just like, just do it, Jaime. Just end the life of the human. Whereas the scare, it feels like an actual person.
Yes.
Like, I can't have my identity exposed. Kill him now. Do it. To the point that there's like a character arc with even the Scarab, where he starts to say, why did you save him when he just murdered your best friend? Because dude. And that just kind of affects the Scarab. Like, oh, so this is humanity? Like, y'all just save it? I guess. Like, that's what y'all do. Like, I'm on board, so I'm stuck to you. So, like, cool.
Okay.
Until the Scarab and him kind of become, like, more of a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's kind of like Naruto and Kurama. It's exactly like that. Okay. At first, they're like, I want to take over your body. It's mine. Button heads, and it's my body. You can't have it. Like, you're such a Let's kill him. Like, what's your problem? Just kill him. And to the point to where he's actually let the Scarab take over his body to fight people before because he trusts him that much. and he gives his body back to him afterwards.
Okay.
It's like he's like an actual like character.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just like AI.
Not just there.
Yeah, he's like an actual character with a personality, with a backstory, with his own way of like doing things, and his own like turmoil. It's like, yo, I was put here to do this thing,
right? And
I'm broken. I'm stuck to this human,
right?
And now my own people think I'm defective. Now they're coming to kill me, and I'm stuck to this weak kid who doesn't want to kill anybody, who's not with the like I am, right? And I got to mold him somehow, and I feel defective. And he teaches him like, you're not defective, you're just different,
right?
And like you don't have to do things how they do things, and it's cool to do things differently. And he teaches how to value life. Mm-hmm. And it's a very interesting story.
I didn't think the Scarab had that much depth to him.
A lot of depth. Because with a lot of these characters, the reason why adaptations are so important, this is what manga understands in anime, is that whatever they adapt, that will just be how you know that character, just period.
Yes.
So if you adapt it wrong,
that's all it is.
That's all people know. Like, oh, I thought Superman just saved cats out of trees.
Right.
It's like, no, he fights robots and demons and gods. He be throwing hands. Like, really? Pfft, sure, whatever, bro. And they just don't believe you.
That's a good point. I always thought it was such a disservice to me the way that they popularized off of Injustice with Superman being a villain, that that's all they want to push him as, like just this tyrant.
Like, he's not even,
that's not Superman.
That's not how he acts.
No.
And then Zack Snyder's movies just perpetuate the idea of like, no man, he's like cold hearted and gritty. Like, it's like, he's not Batman, bro. No. He's super. He's supposed to be better than Batman.
Yeah, he is Hope. Like he's the guy.
Thank you. Like, one of my favorite issues or favorite lines of Superman was from like Rebirth, when that came out like after New 52.
Okay.
Where they realized, yeah, this sucked. It was a conversation between Batman and Superman. Mm-hmm. They were talking about how Batman's like, it's typical like, yeah, man, this world is just people just suck. He's pessimistic as
Yeah.
He goes, the world is just dark, Clark. I don't know what to tell you. And Superman looked at him and goes, that's why we need to shine brighter.
See, that's hard.
I'm like, that's Superman. That's hard. That's a bar.
Yes.
He drops bars like that all the time, but he's not afraid to throw hands. Mm-hmm. People think because the movies, he's just some I say catch from trees and I plant flowers and save the earth. Like, no, he's a real.
That's why I've always held Superman, Spider-Man, and Cap to that same high regard, because it's like they really represent what we should be as people.
What superheroes are supposed to be.
Exactly. That's something to look forward to.
And then that's why superheroes have become such an important part of American culture, is they represent ideals to strive for. Mm-hmm. So when you have all these characters who are like Batman, what does that say about society besides we're all pessimistic loners who just don't believe that hope exists? Like, that's bad.
It is bad. Like, as popular as he is.
That's bad if all of our characters mirror like our current state of idea and it's all negative. Mm-hmm. To the point that you see Superman go, that's not realistic.
Yeah,
he's too happy. Yeah, it's like, what? Like, as opposed to what? What do you want him to be? Sad and mopey?
That's a good point.
Like, it's crazy. Like, superheroes are supposed to give us something to like
strive for.
Yeah, that's why All Might is it's a good character as far as superhero context goes, because he represents the ultimate hope. Yeah, to the point that when he went away, their hope just died.
Exactly.
in the whole universe, it's all depressed and sad, because that's what a character is supposed to be in a superhero context. Mm-hmm. I guess you want to make a crime series. Where it's a crime series. Mm-hmm. But a superhero thing, you need to have at least some tropes or a staple to the series, which is the character has to have some level of hope. Yes. That's why I like the new Batman movie that came out, because it's not just he's just a dark brooding. It's more so like, you have to be hopeful too, bro. Yeah. Because, like, the biggest point in that movie was when he's fighting the Riddler people. Mm-hmm. Like, no, man, vengeance. Like, yeah, we're with you. Yeah. He's like, oh, no. Like, we are not the same.
Once he makes the connection.
Like, oh, we are the same, man. I can't, no. Yeah. Even though I'm not killing people, I'm inspiring people in the wrong way. Yeah. So that's why in the end, he's, like, helping to rescue people. And he's, like, guiding them to the hospital. He's, like, in broad daylight, just, come on, guys. Come on. Right. Yes. And that's what Batman should be. Yes. Even he should be like a darkest. No. Like, the only character who's like that and should be like that is the Punisher. And that's because the Punisher, even in his own universe, is not liked like any hero. They're like, you're a psychopath, you're crazy. And it'll tell like, yeah, I am crazy.
Yeah.
Like, do not look up to me. I'm not a hero. I murder people every day. Yes. I don't care. I'm not ever going to change.
And I think people don't realize, like, he was created to be the example that you should not follow.
Exactly.
But all these people, like, glorify him. Like, you always see them skull tattoos on cars and trucks. And it's like, you shouldn't want to have
Y'all
that.
miss the plot completely.
Exactly.
Well, that leads to a problem with just, I have with people is that media literacy needs to be taught in schools.
Absolutely.
Because the way y'all interpret media is as important as how you interpret literature and, like, books.
Yes.
It's like, these things are things you watch every day. And if you can't break down the simplest concepts,
Exactly.
it's like, we're in trouble.
Absolutely.
Because it's the same thing with, like, BoJack, with Rick.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to look up.
No.
You're just supposed to despise them. They're bad people.
Yes.
That's why with each season, with BoJack, the writer purposely made him worse and worse and worse. He's like, I don't want y'all to like him. Stop liking him, right. Bro. I get. He's funny,
right?
And like, but he's not. No.
Yeah.
That's why in the end, he's the character who got the worst ending.
Yeah.
Because he's a bad person.
He had it coming.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved everything he got. People are like, well, I don't get it. Like, I'm a Rick. Like, that's bad.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
If you say you're a Rick, you need therapy.
Yeah.
Serious therapy, because you shouldn't want to be that character. He's a bad person.
He is.
Who does terrible things to his family, himself. He's self-deprecating, suicidal. He's a bad person.
And it's weird that people do get so drawn to that.
Like, they're drawn to the negative things and they shun away the positive stuff.
Yes, it's weird.
Like, Punisher is not pro-police. He kills cops.
Yeah, he kills everyone.
He kills everybody who he feels is a threat to society, except for himself.
Yeah.
He's the real threat to society.
Yeah. The biggest issue of all.
For real. I think it was an issue where he was fighting Spider-Man. And it was the first time Spider-Man said, all right, bro, kid gloves are off. I'm done with you. Because he legit stole his web shooters and used them to murder people. He was swinging around, hanging people from his webs. Wow. He's like, bruh, I gotta beat the out you right now. Because, like, you're not gonna use my stick to murder people. Like, you are a sick man, bro. You need to go down.
Now, I'm sure Spider-Man didn't with Punisher. How frequently is it where he enters a fight not holding back? Because, there's always the...
Spider-Man?
Yeah, there's always the thing of, like, he holds back because he'll kill people. How frequently does he not hold back where he's like, I gotta go all in?
There's only been...
It was like a few times?
Like a few times where even other characters were surprised at how strong he actually is.
Really? Okay.
There was, I think it was a book where he was mad at something. Uh-huh. And, like, the Thing and Thor were, like, holding him. They're like, hey, fight, chill. They're like... It's kind of strong. Like, hold up now. Hold up. I gotta put more pressure on him. Like, hey, chill. I think it was when he was fighting Wolverine.
Okay.
It's the one I can think of off the top of my head. He was fighting Wolverine in, like, it's an issue that came out in, like, the 80s. It was when they were both in, like, it was like Wolverine and Spider-Man, like, versus comic. Okay. And they were both in, like, Paris. Because Spider-Man was there for, like, a news story. Mm-hmm. And Wolverine was there to hunt down his old, like, KGB buddy. Okay. And they were kind of butting heads because they both do things differently. Yeah. And Wolverine gave him the warning, like, hey, bro, you're not about this life. You're sticking your nose in stuff that you are not ready for your kid. Right. But with that being said, if you do this again, I will have to kill you. Like, I hesitate. I will put you down like anyone else. And Spidey said, no, like, I'll put you down. Like, you're supposed to be a good guy. You're killing people in Paris. Like, that's when they kind of cross paths. Uh-huh. They come to an end in the book because Wolverine's trying to find his friend. Mm-hmm. And his friend is like, yo, the KGB's after me. Like, I need you to kill me. Because if they get a hand of me, they're going to do worse than just kill me. And, all right, I'll grant your wish. But Spider-Man being the good guy is like, hey, you can't kill her. What the fuck? I'm not going to let that happen. Right. So then they start fighting. And, like, Wolverine is not holding back. Of course. He's, like, trying to kill him. Uh-huh. And for the first time, Spider-Man is afraid. So, yo, if we read his inner monologue, he's like, yo, the claws whizzed past my face. For the first time, I know if these connect, I'm dead. He's like, the fear and the adrenaline kicks in. He's like not holding back.
Because he can't. Because
he
just
can't.
where he's,
If he doesn't, he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's fighting full strength. And if it was not for Wolverine's skull, he'd be dead.
Okay.
Because he took the fact like, he's a unbreakable skull, and he can heal. Oh, bet. I'm unleashing on this.
Right.
To the point that he's like punching him so hard against a tombstone, he cracks it in half with his face. And like the book ends kind of sad because he's so like cocked up on like adrenaline that the chick who wants to die taps me, cocks back and hits her, thinking that it's Wolverine, and it's her. Kills her. And that's kind of where Wolverine and Spider-Man's bond kind of like comes from. It's the fact that it's like, man, this kid, bro, I didn't want him to have to be involved in this. Now he caught a body.
Because of his negligence.
His first body. And the rest of the book ends with no dialogue. They both get on the plane, go their separate ways. He just goes home, goes in and just cries.
Really? I thought he would still lash out on Wolverine for that.
No, because Wolverine got it. Right. And then once he realized the context of the situation, he's like, oh, damn, I should have just stayed home.
That's powerful, though.
This is not my place. I'm just the guy in New York who fights bank robbers.
Right.
Like, this is your world. This is too dark for me, bro. This is too me.
That's
and it's
crazy.
still affecting to this very day.
Wow.
There was an issue of Daredevil that came out like last year where Daredevil, with his whole thing of like he accidentally killed a cop and he was going crazy. He like wanted to retire. He put himself in jail because of it. And Spider-Man sat him down on the rooftop, told him that story. I said, hey, bro, we've all been there. And like, it does not get easier. Taking a body, like, that broke my brain.
Right.
And I shaped me as a hero after that, but I still have nightmares of that day every single day.
Punisher would laugh at him.
You call him a like, really? I killed for breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
I eat blood for just smoothies.
Okay. We're pretty much almost done here. So, Image Comics reimagined the execution or the business model for producing comic books. Do you think we'll see another major company pop up and push the envelope in a new direction?
A comic company?
Yeah. Or do you think that's kind of over? That ship sailed?
American comic books are in a place where they're not really doing that good.
So you believe there will be a renaissance?
Yeah. It's mostly just superhero stuff. But I do believe that, like, independent books are going to like become more popular because those are the closest things to manga that we can possibly have.
Yes.
And that's what I champion for.
Yeah.
I'm like, do not work for Marvel. Do not work for DC.
Right.
Do not. I get it. It's like, it's Marvel, it's DC. But essentially, you will be creating a character that belongs to them. Yes. Which they can do whatever they want to with it, regardless if you're involved or not. Like the dude who made up Thanos. The dude who's in all the Avengers films, making them billions of dollars. You know how much money they gave him for a cameo to be in like the Infinity War?
Probably not.
$500.
Really?
Not even $1,000. $500.
Why did he even agree to it then?
He's like, hey, it's Marvel.
This is up. Wow.
It was a point where they are trying to make it hard for them to get royalties too. They're trying to come up with every loophole possible to not pay them the money for these characters that they help pioneer. So it's like, these are the people who you're essentially giving your ideas to, whereas Image, Dark Horse, even just doing it yourself, you don't have to worry about that. Image's whole thing is, this character is yours. Right. You want a TV show? Cool. If you don't, hey, we won't push you for it. Tell your story, get out. And if you want to take it further, you can. Which is ideal for up-and-coming writers who just want to be creative and not follow a formula.
Right, they have the freedom to try.
Yeah, to do whatever you want to. That's why I love Image and Dark Horse so much. They allow you to just kind of just do whatever you feel is good for you to do. Whatever story you want to tell a princess fighting a war, man, go ahead. You want to tell a story of a vampire, I don't know, working at a factory, hey, bro, as long as it's good and we like it and the art's good, come on in. Come on in, buddy.
Now, I've heard a similar story to the Thanos guy. Are you familiar with the dude who created Black Lightning and how he still owns it, so they refuse to use it?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't remember. So I know Static Shock was one of the offshoots. I don't remember what other characters they've made to not use Black Lightning, but I heard there's a bunch in the DC universe that are black who have electric powers, but are not Black Lightning.
And it became like a trope.
Yes, and
To
that's
where
why
if
it's
you're
a
black,
thing.
you gotta have lightning powers.
Miles and everyone else.
You gotta
Yeah,
have lightning or some sort of electricity.
that's so dirty. Just pay the dude.
They're shady.
He was smart not to give it away, but that's
But like they're an evil, greedy corporation. Like, no, we don't get our coins one way or another. Like,
Right.
we'll find a way.
we'll just make another.
Make another character who just like yours but different.
That's crazy.
Take that.
Yeah, rub it in his face.
Exactly.
Okay, in your opinion, are online webcomic sites good or bad for the medium?
They're good in the sense of it's a platform for just anyone to create,
Yes.
but they're also bad because anyone can do it. It's
Yeah.
like I always go back to the line from The Incredibles with Syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
where his whole point was if I make everyone super, then no one
one's
will be.
super. Yes.
If anybody can make a webtoon, you have millions of people all trying to do the same thing you're trying to do.
Right.
So even if yours is the best,
You're getting bogged
you're
down.
getting drowned out by just a sea of just like this guy who drew for the first time yesterday,
Right.
and this person who's been drawing for 15 years, and this
Right.
person who just doing it for fun, and like it's kind of hard to kind of stand out. That's why it takes longer,
Right.
and also just the format kind of kills the magic of comics.
Yeah.
Comics, I feel like, are meant to be read in a book,
Mm-hmm.
left to right, right to left, however you want to.
Right.
Because
Page
that's
to page.
yeah, because that's how it's structured. Like Akira Toriyama has like a genius formula for how he lays out panels
Mm-hmm.
to where it's all strategic. You have a character here, he punches, he puts the word balloon here, to where you see the word balloon, and then the guidelines of him jumping from the punch is up here, so it guides you through the page.
The art follows the motion.
And it makes you, it almost like engages your brain to kind of follow along through the book. Webtoon is just,
It's up and down. Yeah,
you just scroll up, you kind of lose that element of the page turn.
Yes,
It's the
surprise.
Yes, the big thing with comics is the page turn.
Yep.
That's gone. The big splash page at the very beginning.
Yep.
It's gone.
Can't
the
do that.
double page page. Whoa, just a
do
big
that.
poster. I was like, no, it's gone. It's just
Yep, because now it's half and half. Yeah.
Yep, it's just you just scroll up until it's done. Like it makes it reading comic books feel kind of soulless.
Yes, I agree. What is the most intricate art style you've seen? The most complex or heavily detailed work in a comic?
Truthfully, it's in a manga.
Yeah.
It's in two biggest ones to me are One Punch Man, Yusuke Murata,
Yep.
and the writer of Don to Don. The author.
Oh, interesting. I wonder
The art in that book is just, it makes no sense.
It's crazy,
Like
huh?
you drew this with an iPad or a pencil? And that's the crazy thing is like with Yusuke, he does use like, the Clip Studio trick tips.
Mm-hmm.
The dude does the Don, all those effects are hand drawn.
So he's still, well, there are a lot of traditionalists over there, so that's
Yeah.
not too crazy. That's
But-
wild, though.
Like when you see it, you're like, there's no way you drew this by hand. I just know you had to use like a rippling effect and Clip Studio, like, nah. And it's just like, wow, this is not, you're not human. Like, how did you do this? This is crazy.
Do you think he's gained that ability because he's been like a specialized person, whereas here you have to know how to do everything, to edit, to color, but over there maybe he just focuses on the art? Or do you think he still puts his hands in like, let me do this part, let me do the editing, let me do the writing?
I think since they're all like traditionally trained artists over there, they kind of already know how to do that.
Okay.
That's why they have like the colored pages where they do all that themselves too.
Oh, do they?
So they do the markers, paint, whatever you want to call it. Even Oda has time to still do like colored pages where he like paints it all by like watercolor.
So do you think it's just a fact of, because of how their society is, how they champion that stuff so much, that you get the opportunity to even focus on art as a career, versus here it's like tough, can you make it, can you not?
Exactly. And then also over there is more so they're self-motivated to make their stuff unique and different. Because if you read One Punch Man, the art is so kinetic even in the single panels, but even just flipping the pages. There's a whole sequence in chapter 12 of One Punch Man when he's fighting the alien guy.
Boros.
Yeah, Boros.
Yes.
Where each page turn is like he's getting closer, closer to the punch, and then he swings. And it lasts for like 10 pages here. And it's because Yusuke said, you know what, in my spare time, I learn how to animate.
Right.
Which he applied specifically to his art, to where it feels like you're like a flip book.
That's dope, like some Captain Underpants.
And he only learned that to make his manga better. Not be an animator because he wanted to make he just wanted to make his manga.
He just
better.
cared about his art that much, and that I think that goes to show the value in make something that you want to make, and don't try to make something for like a Marvel or for a Disney.
Yes.
Because then you lose the life of it.
The passion is not as prevalent when it's something that you didn't make.
Yes.
Especially when it's something that you know you have no control over afterwards. It's like even when I'm doing commissions for people, I'm like,
sometimes that's depressing.
It's a good thing you're paying me because I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You're taking me away from the thing that I want to do.
Yeah.
Do this thing that you don't even have an idea of for real. Just give me a thing that just draw this person, just do that.
It's annoying when they don't give details.
Exactly.
They're just like, oh, do your thing.
Like, what does that mean? Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
It's not Burger King. You just have it. What do you want? And I'll draw it. If you just whatever, I'm like, oh, I was draw it. And you still don't like it.
That's like, well, I thought it'd look more like this. Could you do that? Well, why didn't you ask for it?
Why didn't you just specify it from the very beginning?
Yeah.
Or what's even worse is that they don't want to pay you because they don't value art the same over here as they do over there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a commission from him, even if you're not even tied to the manga, it's like, oh, I'm paying you top books. This is good. Over here, there's a chick in my job who wanted me to draw a picture of her son with Sonic the Hedgehog in full color, 16 by 8. I told her, I'll charge by the hour. Well, give me an estimate. I'm like, 20 an hour, rough. 120 is probably what you're gonna get just off the top estimate. It's like, ooh, really? 120?
Oh my god!
Really? I'm like, what do you think I'm gonna charge you, like $5?
Right.
This is time out of my day.
You know how long it takes?
Exactly, because they think that you can just draw a picture, this little picture, like an hour, and just call it a day. Like, no, art is a process.
Yeah.
It's something you have to study, you have to master. Even when you've mastered it, you still ain't mastered it.
Right.
You still always have plateaus to reach. And if you don't respect that, of course you're not going to feel like, well, I'm not paying that much for no little picture of Sonic.
Exactly.
Like, what? You're crazy. It's like, no, you're crazy. Because this is, like, I'm working hours. This picture will probably take me at least 8 hours to draw.
Right.
Not 2 minutes or 30 minutes. It's like, no, it's not a scribble. You want to draw an actual color painting of this kid. It's yours in Sonic. And that's not even counting that I have to take your kid, do a pre-drawing to make sure I make him look like the kid, so a cartoon of that kid. It looks like, no, like, you're going to charge me. I'm going to charge you.
Yeah, it's going to cost.
Yeah, it's going to cost you.
I had a doctor, this was 2 years ago, I had like a medical thing, and she was like, oh, you do art and animation? I was like, yeah. She's like, how much would it cost if you were to animate my son coming downstairs and popping out of a birthday present for his birthday, like a whole little video? I said, that's going to be expensive, I'm going to be honest with you. She was like, I want like a 2-minute video.
Because it's animation.
Yeah, and I was telling her, like, honestly, I'll probably charge you like $1,500. She's like, are you kidding me? I was like, no, I mean, it takes a long time if I got to draw your son and do all this. She's like, well, I mean, 200, I'll do 200. I said
200.
I said no, because think of how long it's going to take me to do.
Animation is just insane.
Yeah.
It takes hours to make 30 seconds.
Just roughing the out is going to take forever. Yeah. My short film's 2 minutes. Took me 3 months. 1,500, you still winning.
Yeah.
I'm losing money.
I'm losing money and time. It's not even for me, it's for you.
No, exactly. And I don't want to draw your son.
I really don't.
For his birthday.
Popping out of a cake.
Yeah, who cares?
Because they just see the end result. They don't see the process to get there. And they already don't respect it to begin with.
Yeah.
They're like, what? You're just drawing a little cartoon. I can do that. Like, well, then do it then. Don't ask me. Waste my time.
Exactly.
You know, and they think that artists are being like arrogant or like, no, it's like we know our value.
Yeah.
Which is why they're trying to push us out for like AI. At least corporations are.
Absolutely.
So it's like, we don't want to pay y'all. Like, we can just make this computer do it. It's probably better than what you can do.
Exactly.
It's like, it's really not. Like, it's like missing fingers, or it's got like more
It's
fingers than it
all
needs to.
weird.
It's all warped. Like, you're stealing from other people. Like, eventually people will catch on to, like, this is ugly.
Yeah, and then they're just going to say, well, where's the value in this? What's the purpose of it?
Exactly.
There's even cases where it's like, I've paid voice actors for different videos that I have done. I pay them what they want. I know it's not, to me, it's not that hard of a skill, but I'm not a part of that world either.
Exactly.
So whatever they're asking for, I got to assume, like, okay, that's fair.
Because they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
So people, anytime people don't understand or respect the craft, they will always try and lowball you.
Mm-hmm.
Even with voice acting.
Yeah.
It's just like acting, but you have to just use your voice.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do a little more.
Yeah, because you have to convey that message that it's not being seen.
Exactly. And then people don't want to pay them. They're like, let's get Chris Hemsworth. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're just paying for his voice. He's Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
He's just recognizable. You're paying for his name.
Exactly.
You know, like what the like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I feel bad for professional voice actors where they lose a job because a celebrity comes in for a role.
You can blame DreamWorks.
Yeah.
That's their whole marketing thing is, hey, man, it's Christopher Joan Hart voicing this squirrel.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's Ben Affleck as his rabbit. It's like Kevin Hart.
So
and you listen to it, it's like, you just sound like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he's not trying.
You're not playing a character. You're just Kevin Hart yelling as a rabbit. Like, I just don't understand.
I've consistently heard different celebrities in them different type of movies. They always say, it was so fun, it was so easy. I don't know why more people don't do this for a living. It's like, shut up.
You piss me off when they say that.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a reason why people got mad that Chris Pratt was voicing Mario and Garfield.
Yes.
Like, you're just Chris Pratt.
Yeah. You're nothing
You're not even
special.
trying to sound like Mario. You just sound like Chris Pratt with a fake Italian accent.
Yeah, what was they thinking?
They were thinking, oh, it's Chris Pratt.
That was so stupid.
Or worse, they'll get a famous actor to voice a character, just for that character to say like 2 or 3 lines.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
It's like he just says, I'm Groot. Like,
yeah.
Who cares? He's useless in this.
Yeah,
He could have got
doesn't
anybody.
matter. That's how I feel about Keanu Reeves being Shadow the Hedgehog. Did y'all have to get Keanu Reeves? Save some money and get
It's
someone.
just Keanu.
Yeah.
They got it for the fact that he's John Wick.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Shadow is just
He's
John
like a
Wick for hedgehogs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
So stupid.
because when I watch, like, that's just John Wick. I can only hear Keanu Reeves. I can't hear the character Shadow.
Yeah. You just hear John.
Just,
Stupid.
It's to each his own, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I'm going to watch it.
I'm still gonna watch it.
But
Guess you they gave him a gun.
I don't think they're going to give him a gun.
They did.
Does he have a gun?
New trail just dropped.
No.
I'm like,
from
hey, yo!
From the opening of the game, he's got the gun?
He's got a Glock.
Who is he going to shoot, though? A robot?
Hopefully, the human character.
Man.
No more James Marsden.
Yeah. No more weddings.
No more road trips.
Yeah. Blow that head out.
For real.
All right. Last question. Are you working on a comic currently? And if not, what would you like to make? Short synopsis is fine to not give away the meat and potatoes.
I am working on a few comics.
Okay. Oh, you're working on multiple.
So I'm working on like a main comic book series I want to at least pitch to somebody.
Okay.
But I know I have to put out material to keep up with the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So I plan on putting out like little comic strips like here and there.
Okay. Are you talking like newspaper like that small or a little longer than that?
Like a little shorter.
Okay.
Like 3 panel, like
Okay.
little gag strips, or like single panel strips too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what's the story?
So for
people know.
So for the comic strips, I just kind of want to do this goofy shit.
Uh-huh.
Like based on like stuff I see in media, or like one of them, the concept is, I think I told you the concept of this one. It's like a little girl, like a little teddy bear.
Yes.
And like at night, she asks him like a question, and the teddy bear gives her this overly long philosophical
answer.
meaning, and her interpretation of it is like that of a child.
Yes.
She asked a question for like some little kid thing she had going on that day. He gave her some grand paragraph of stuff. So that's the premise of that. The single ones all tie back to the main comic book, which is like, the cover stories from like One Piece.
Yes.
So in between like the actual comics I want to put out,
mm-hmm.
I want to put out little single panel like stories that kind of expand the world but still tell like its own separate story.
Okay.
To keep putting out stuff with this character while I work on like the big time consuming stuff.
Which would be?
Should be the main series, which is called The Art of Dying.
Okay, and I think I've seen you put promotional art up from Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not tied to Iggy.
Mm-mm.
Okay. How long have you been working on that? The Art of Dying.
Oh boy, it's been under many different iterations for like at least a good 6 or 7 years.
Really? So you've been doing a lot of prep work.
Because it started off as something completely different.
Oh, did it?
Like, it came to me in like a dream. I had a dream with this girl getting off a bus. She had a duffel bag and bandages. Okay. And I woke up saying, what the was that? But I made sure I wrote it down. So when I woke up, I went straight to work on just designing this character that popped in my head. Okay. And the original concept was, it was like a video game where she's like this character, like an ex-enforcer who's going back to get revenge on her boss for killing her friend. Right. And each level was like a different boss that she had to battle. But that was the same day that my mom took us to go see Creed. Okay. So that after I came to see that, I had a whole different perspective. No, it's like a tournament of fighting thing where the character's like a martial artist who fights people in like a tournament. And that became like Battle Brawlers. So that was the story.
Is that the original comic you gave me that I got from you? Mm-hmm. I still got that wrapped up too. I read it, but I did put it back.
That became a thing of me trying to develop that for years to where it evolved into what it is now. Okay. Which is a story of her as a kid before those events on this island with all these creatures and monsters and like deities that she fights on a regular basis.
So now it's like some Hunter x Hunter type.
Now it's like more so an anthology series. So I got the idea from like Hellboy. Okay. Because Hellboy has like the main like mini series that come out, but he's known for his short stories.
Okay, interesting.
So I want to put out some short stories while I work on like the stuff I plan on pitching and just little short comics to kind of like, hey, this is the character doing this random thing, or fighting this thing, or doing this thing over here. So you get this character popping up here and there, so you still have her in the back of your head while you wait for like the big stuff to come out with this character.
Now, are you going to be pushing this through TikTok or just anything to kind of put this short comics out?
Like Instagram mainly for like the comics. Okay. But I plan on getting into webtoons and Tapas.
Okay, I haven't heard of Tapas.
That's like another one? Yeah. Okay. And I'm planning on posting on at least those 3 platforms to kind of put it out there. Okay. And I plan on getting a literary agent and all that good stuff to really get it pitched to like an actual publisher.
Who would you like it to push to? Or does it not matter to you?
I would like it to be published by Image.
Yeah, so you still have freedom.
Yeah, but it still depends on like if it's the type of story that can work for a publisher. That's what a literary agent's job is, to make sure that the story works and it can be pitched, and they pitch it to different people.
Oh, so they do it for you. You don't have to go in the rooms.
They pretty much do all the negotiating, the prices. They bring those deals back to you, and then you kind of decide, okay, this deal is not as good. This one's kind of good, and this one, they give you advice. Well, I think you should go with this one because they're offering you more. This, that, and third, and they make sure you're not getting f***ed with the contract. They read all the contract stuff. Make sure
what's their cut from you? Is it you pay them up front?
So the typical from the research I've been looking at is they should only really be taking at least 10%.
So it's like an agent.
Yeah. Okay. If they're asking for anything more than like 15, they're probably trying to scam you.
They're trying to rip you off.
So just keep that in mind for that, moving forward. But yeah, it's like a 10% and a pretty much whatever you make, they get 10% of it, and then you just kind of go from there.
I hope that pans out. I like the sound of it.
I hope so, because I need to do something.
They're not in Kansas, though, right? Is this an online agency?
You just got to find somebody.
Because I wouldn't trust nobody.
So pretty much from the people who I've looked up, they say you just got to do your research. Okay. They said the best thing to do is to look at your favorite artist and look at who their agent is, and it kind of go from there, and it's about finding the best person that works out for you specifically. Okay. So once I get everything taken care of, I do plan on getting deeper into that.
Doing some research. Okay. Well, I'm interested to see where it goes.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Marquis, for giving me the educational rundown on comics. I know you're the guy.
Yeah. Thank you. I
You
didn't think I was, but you know.
I don't know. No, I know one other person who knows comics, but you know the history more than anybody I know in the state. So you're my what's the word? Not dictionary.
Aficionado.
Yeah, you're my encyclopedia. You're my aficionado on
The
comics.
Rolodex of comic book knowledge.
Yeah. So thank you for entertaining me in this. I'm pissed.
No.
This room looks like what I paid.
You paid
Yeah.
crazy. They even
I know.
charge that much.
I know.
Like, this is the fuck.